One more word, one more technical, and Caitlin Clark sits out. Here's how close she just came. She just put up one of the best nights of her career. And by the end of the same game, she was one single word away from a suspension. Wednesday night in Indianapolis wasn't supposed to be complicated. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever went out and did something the franchise had never done before. But buried inside that record-breaking performance was a moment that could end up shaping the rest of her season, and I promise you, once you hear what actually triggered it, you're going to want to know what happens the very next time she steps on the floor. Before we get into it, if you like following Clark's season in real time, with the actual details and not just the highlight clips, this is the channel for that. Subscribe now, because this technical foul situation isn't over, and I'll have the update the moment something happens. Let's start with the game itself, because it deserves the attention on its own. The Fever demolished the Connecticut Sun 123-88. That's not a typo, it's a 35-point blowout, and it set a new franchise record for points scored in a single game. Indiana led 70-46 at halftime, the biggest half in franchise history, and by the final buzzer this had become the third highest scoring game in WNBA history without overtime. Clark ran the show. She finished with 27 points and 11 assists for another double-double, going into the locker room at halftime with 21 points already on the board. Kelsey Mitchell added 23. Aliyah Boston, the number 1 pick in the 2023 draft, put up 22. Monique Billings and Tyasha Harris chipped in 12 apiece, and as a team, Indiana knocked down 11 of 22 attempts from 3. And get this, just hours before tip-off, Clark had been unveiled as a cover athlete for NBA 2K27, sharing that cover with Victor Wembanyama and 2011 NBA MVP Derrick Rose. So this wasn't just a big win. It was a full day of validation for a player who spent the last year proving she belongs in every conversation about the biggest names in basketball, regardless of league. The win pushed Indiana's record to 17-10, and heading into the All-Star break, the Fever now sit atop the Eastern Conference standings, just half a game ahead of the Atlanta Dream. Now here's the part that changes the tone of the whole night. In the third quarter, with Sun guard Saniya Rivers defending her, Clark dribbled across the top of the key and drew a reach-in foul on Olivia Nelson-Ododa with under 30 seconds left in the quarter. As Clark tossed the ball back to the official, Rivers made a gesture toward her, and the two exchanged words right there on the court. Officials hit both players with technical fouls on the spot. Clark explained afterward exactly what set it off. She said she was locking me up, so I said, "Scoreboard," and the ref didn't like that. One word. That's genuinely all it took. Here's why that single technical foul matters so much more than it would for almost anyone else in the league right now. It was Clark's 7th technical of the season, tied with Angel Reese for the most of any player in the WNBA. And under league rules, one more technical foul triggers an automatic one-game suspension. Think about what that actually means. Clark is now one heated exchange, one frustrated word to an official, away from watching a game from the bench during the most important stretch of the season. Not because of an injury. Not because of a coaching decision. Because of a technical foul. And she was asked directly about it after the game, whether knowing she's one step from a suspension would change the way she plays. Her answer didn't sound like someone planning to play it safe. She made clear she has no intention of backing down, saying she'll keep working on controlling her emotions, that the intensity is part of what makes her who she is, but that she also knows her team needs her on the floor, not in the locker room. That's the tension sitting underneath everything right now. This is a player who plays with an edge, who talks back, who doesn't take a step back from contact or trash talk, and that same edge that makes her must-watch television is now one incident away from actually costing her a game. And the timing could not be worse for a slip-up, because the Fever are about to walk straight into All-Star Weekend in Chicago, with Clark, Aliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell all representing Indiana. Every eye in the building is going to be on her. Every referee is going to know exactly how close she is to that line. And every defender in this league now knows that a well-timed jab, a hard foul, a little chirping under the basket, might be the easiest way to get inside Caitlin Clark's head and force a mistake that actually benefits their team on the scoreboard days later. So here's where this leaves us. Indiana just posted one of the most dominant wins in franchise history, on the same day their franchise player landed a video game cover most players only dream about. That should be an easy, feel-good story. But it's tangled up with a genuine countdown clock, one more technical, and Clark sits out a game, right as her team is fighting for playoff positioning at the top of the East. Will she get through the rest of the regular season without crossing that line? Will opposing teams start deliberately testing her patience now that they know exactly how close she is? And if she does end up suspended for a game down the stretch, how much does that cost a Fever team currently holding on to first place by half a game? I'll be tracking every one of Clark's technical fouls from here on out, because at this point, it's basically its own storyline. If you don't want to miss the moment this either resolves quietly or blows up into a real suspension, make sure you're subscribed, because the next flashpoint could happen in literally the very next game she plays.